It's all fun and games till someone gets shot.
A couple of hours ago, the developers concluded the Tekken talk and it was magnificent. Now, there was no characters revealed during the actual Tekken talk. The only characters they revealed was Panda and Fang. Alyssa, Lei Shao Kahn, Zafina, Mami Mishima, any other character you can think of or can imagine was not announced. Right before the Tekken talk began, Harada put out a tweet saying there will be no character reveals. And at that time, the whole entire chat just lost it. Everyone was like, what am I doing here? This is a bait. This is a troll. Everyone started to doubt. The timer ran down from 15 all the way till 0. Once the actual reveal began, they started to drop bombshells. They started off with the story mode. The title is Dark Awakens. They gave us a small glimpse of the story, and this is why I say it's going to be so much better than Mortal Kombat. I played through the whole entire Mortal Kombat story, and I like it. I plan on doing a review for it. But the Mortal Kombat story mode was very predictable. You go to this location, characters talk, characters fight. You go to that location, characters talk, characters fight. The short glimpse of story mode we were shown here is very dynamic. You have Lars inside this cockpit of this massive ship looking down on Jin. He's driving on a motorcycle, navigating terrain. He throws his motorcycle at Kazuya's helicopter. There's a lot here that's happening that Mortal Kombat and also Street Fighter never even attempts. This is why I say and have always said Tekken 8 will be legendary. Any doubts you had about the story should be washed away with this glorious cutscene. In here you also get a look at, I think it's called dynamic cutscene, where it's like a character lunges at you and then it freezes and then you have to like react on time to survive. This is going to be really interesting seeing what happens if you don't react versus if you do react. Two things to note also about the story. They said that the story takes place 6 months after Tekken 7, so this is a 6-month time skip. But the second thing that I think is even more important, Michael Murray, he translated and he said that at the end when it goes into black, that is Jin transforming into Devil Jin. Now, a recent discovery that we made on our own is that Devil Jin does not have horns. Usually when Jin has horns and he transforms, that means the devil is in control. But he's transforming and there's no horns. That means that Jin should still be in control. And that's massive because it talks about his growth as a character. I believe it was Tekken 4, but they also had a non-Devil Jin horned version. And this is where the idea is being pulled from. Another thing that they talked about was character episodes, or you can call it character endings. 32 characters, every single character will get one. These are kind of what if stories. If you guys ever seen the Marvel's what if scenario where you have all of this wacky stuff going on, this is what this is supposed to embody. Dragunov is sitting on the couch and he's looking at something, I don't even know. The next one you have Ling Xiaoyu and she's doing some kind of presentation. Panda Land, her dream all the way back in Tekken 3 is a reality. This is another what if scenario. You have a random one with Kuma and Panda. Look like Kuma is trying to run towards Panda and they're in space. Steve Fox, he has 4 belts. He's the greatest fighter to ever live. You kind of get an idea of what's happening here. You have another one with Lily and Aquafina. Tea and Coffee. Their rivalry and also their relationship is something that's very interesting and I'm interested to see more of. You have this other one here. It looks like it's Jin Kazama, but it's really hard to tell who that character is. But they basically are sitting at this table. It's a feast. A lot of food on the table and they're kind of just not even interested with the hand on the chin. Another one that's really cool, you have Jin and Kazuya kind of doing a fist bump maybe. Maybe Jin's trying to do a fist bump and then Kazuya stopping him. But notice that Jun Kazama is sitting in a camping chair in the background and it seems like she's yelling boys, like they're fighting, arguing, and she's kind of breaking them up. The next one, the last one, Kazuya Mishima walking into a shoe closet. When I first seen this, I thought it had something to do with customization, but it more so looked like this is his character ending. I think these are really cool, but I do have to put in a small critique that they are not canon. I like the idea of having these wacky ideas for character endings, but Just in the history of Tekken, sometimes these confuse a lot of Tekken fans. If you talk about Tekken 6 specifically, there's a lot of character endings who were not canon, but they died in that inning. And forever since then, players have been led to believe that these characters actually died in canon. I'm talking specifically about Wang Jinrei and Baek Du-san. Hopefully there's no weird plot holes or confusions that's created because of this, but regardless, I think it's really cool. Here they dive a little bit more into the details of the game. Arcade Quest. They said the lobby will hold 100 players. This is massive. I think Street Fighter does like 30 or 60 or something like that. 100 is crazy. But then they also said that there's some kind of voice chat. I don't know if it's proximity chat, but there is some kind of way to communicate with other players besides just talking and emojis. The trash talking in here is going to be crazy. I could already imagine clapping someone's cheeks and then running around chasing them, calling them trash. They specified that it's 4 main areas. You have the battle area, which is like the main hub, the customization shop, beach area, which is the Tekken ball area, and then you have the Tekken dojo. Now they still haven't really went into the specifics on what the Tekken dojo actually is. I have another video here where we talk about some of the things that was spotted in there and what it could lead to be. I think this mode is going to be very interesting. We'll talk about that later. But another thing that I just want to mention is blocked off areas. If you see the character run around, there's a lot of areas that's blocked off. Once again, this will be tackled in another video, but a lot of people are believing that some of this stuff will either be added later as DLC, or maybe they just haven't announced it yet. Which of the two will be true? Only time will tell. Now for ranked match, they introduced some very interesting changes for ranked. Now you can no longer do infinite rematches. Now it's the best of 3. You win, rematch. I win, rematch. Whoever wins that third match, it's over. Both of you are separated and you can no longer rematch each other. You have to get matched up again. The reason they said they were doing this is because there's a lot of boosting that goes on. Even though some people intentionally boost, I think there's some people, I'm guilty of this myself. Maybe you run across someone who's like just very easy and you're like, okay, that demotion I lost like an hour ago, I'm gonna beat this person a couple of times just to get a little bit close to the ranked, and then I'll bag out and get my rank. So basically they're just trying to make it a little bit more fair. I know this is going to have a huge ramification in terms of content creation. There's a lot of content creators who play first to tens, whatnot, the Japanese content creators, even everyone does it. You play long sets and then you upload 40-minute videos and hour-long videos. All of that stuff is going to end. It's going to be first to threes from now on. There was a lot of backlash just in the chat itself about this, so I don't know if this is something that people will really get riled up about and force them to change it. They also said that they added old ranks from past games and also some new ranks. There's a total of 30. Tekken 7 had 37, so they shrink the number, but they added a little bit more variety in there. They also said that your rank will automatically go up regardless of loss all the way up until yellow ranks. So kind of how it worked in the closed network test. If you lose, it doesn't matter. Your rank just keeps going up, going up, going up. But then once you run into the yellow ranks, that's when you're playing, that's when it's the real deal and your losses actually count. I don't know why they did this. I can't tell you, but we'll see how this plays out. I'm sure they, thought about the goods and the bads and how this will operate, affect everyone. So I'm not going to hold it against them. Really, bro, those lower ranks really don't even matter. Like if you get out of there up until Emperor and stuff like that, this kind of change won't even bother you. So I don't think there's anything to really be upset about. If anything, I think this will help the players who play in those ranks and they struggle a lot, because I hear this a lot. People are down there in the first stands or the mentor ranks. You lose one match and then you get demoted. You win a match, you get promoted. It's chaos down there, and that adds so much unnecessary stress to players who are just now learning the game, or maybe they're not that familiar with this character, whatever the case may be. They're eliminating that stress for those kind of players, and I think that's a good thing because some people can't handle it. My replaying tips is making a comeback, but this time it has a major overhaul. I guess we should talk about the super ghost battles. I'll dedicate a video to that because it's so very fascinating. But basically, my replaying tips can be, it's like a buffed version from Tekken 7. You can replay ranked matches, player matches. You can fight someone's ghost. You can replay that match with a ghost. My tips and replays is like so evolved. They said they put so much time and resources into this. They really emphasize that. So I think this is going to be something that people will use, but also should use. Also, practice mode. They spent some time talking about this and how they changed this and that. And this is something that I just tried to explain as well. Going from Tekken 7, right? Tekken 7 had a lot of issues. You could talk about balancing, story, all this stuff. The reason why they're dedicating 2 hours to explain all of this stuff is because they're saying how, we did this in this game and we understand, maybe this wasn't right, maybe that wasn't right, but in this game we put so much more time and effort and we're making everything so much better. That's basically what they're explaining with all of this information. One thing to note, they also said that frame data will be free at launch. Now, even though I will talk about the ghost battles later on, I think the idea of it is really cool and I just want to talk about it briefly. It learns from you, it learns from your opponent, it learns from everything, and it basically like helps you get better, identify your flaws, identify your patterns, other people's patterns, and it's basically just supposed to help you get good at the game. There was a section in there where they were talking about how maybe you play tournaments and you don't want people learning your fight style. Let's say, for example, Knee. When Knee's playing someone for fun, he'll pick Brian Fury. In tournaments, he'll use Feng Wei. No matter what you do to try to avoid the AI from learning your gameplay, it will learn your gameplay and there's no way you can deactivate it. But they did try to temper, the outrage by saying the AI can never truly match a real live person. People react in such dynamic ways. People panic, people get excited, people get on fire. All of this stuff cannot be replicated by AI. So they say. I'm interested to see because my Yoshimitsu has a very specific type of flow. And the same thing can be said for the next Yoshi. I wonder if you will be able to get that feel when fighting a ghost Yoshi specifically, because Yoshis all have a distinct gameplay. That's something that this AI can truly highlight and shine. Now, they had a lot of gameplay shown throughout this whole entire thing. You guys would have saw some clips. First ever Fang gameplay where you have Harada versus Ikeda. That match was pretty cool, but they were also stopping to explain stuff, so it wasn't a real match. One thing that they did say that I want to note, because I think this is huge, they said for the heat burst activation, they added a power crush property to it. I think this is kind of big because one, the heat burst freezes the opponent, but two, even if the opponent does hit you, you will now power crush through it. So I don't know how this is going to, I don't know. I just know the freezing effect is something that I didn't like. So now that there's a power crush involved, does it make it better? Does it make it worse? Only time will tell. We'll play the game. We'll see. They also talked about the beta and the dates and whatnot. So we'll see exactly what all this stuff has to offer. Even though they didn't show a character, I was extremely blown away by everything. It was